Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Twenties Detox. Today is very special because I have my sister on.
Hello.
We're both like a little bit shy because I've never done this with somebody else.
Definitely. But we're like in your bedroom.
Yeah.
So it's super chill.
Yeah, we're both cross-legged. We both did a bit of meditation and we have our crystals here.
Yes.
And I even pulled an oracle deck or an oracle card from the oracle deck to get in the mood. It's kind of gloomy day again.
It is, but I kind of like it because I was thinking today when I was driving that I love the rain because it like cleanses everybody.
Yeah.
You're like having a little shower.
Yeah, it's true. It does cleanse everybody. It's like a release.
Yeah. And water is so important.
Well, we're both
Yeah.
water signs, so.
I guess before we even introduce the topic we're going to talk about, but water is so important.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're lucky we live in Canada. We have so much fresh water here.
We have more water. This is
Yeah.
the craziest fact ever. We have more fresh water than any other country's fresh water combined.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
We should start this off with.
What?
What did mom and dad ask us when we were kids of what we wanted to do with our lives? That's something we should start off with.
Okay. So, like, when we were little, Dad, I think it was mostly Dad who was just like, well, what do you want to be? Like, what do you want to do when you're older?
Right.
And I said, I wanted to be an earth protector.
Earth protector?
Earth protector.
Yeah. I don't exactly know the words I said, but I think I said it along the lines being like, I want to help people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it's so
definitely.
What about if you kind of know early in your life as a child?
I feel like you do, because I feel like, which was kind of weird, is that's sort of what I ended up going into, like in university. And it wasn't, I hopped around the environment sort of field a bit.
Yeah.
Realm. Yeah, that's a nice word.
I read a lot of fantasy books.
I like that word a lot.
Yeah.
I think that kids know what's up. They sort of they know what they like.
I think a lot of what I've been doing now is kind of tuning back into that, like what really fuels my inner child.
Yes.
Or like just comes really naturally to me because I feel like that's something I'm meant to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
I've always wanted to help people. Going into forensic science was to help people.
Yeah.
But then I realized I am way too much of a sensitive being in order to do this. I cannot be surrounded by death 24/7. Like, I'd rather help people when they are living.
It'd be very heavy.
But it was still around, like, I want to help people. Anyway, so my sister, she went to school for...
It's okay if you don't know exactly, because... I love how I finished that.
I knew it was always environmentally based.
Environment.
But I thought it was
I'd
environmental.
say.
If I'm not wrong, can I guess?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was environmental science and then environmental geography.
The nail.
Yeah.
On the head.
See, I listen. Actually, you should say what you're in now.
Definitely this is important. I left my university because it just wasn't really resonating with me anymore. And I think that it also had to do with where I was living, because I just was so overwhelmed with living in a city.
Yeah.
And I was kind of over it. Took a little break. Yeah. Because I did school through the pandemic online. And then we were sort of half online, half in person in my third year. And then I needed a break from that. So now I'm an art.
Yay.
Yay. And I'm just doing a 2-year program at Humber. And it's really nice because, like, it's what I know. I know what I'm doing and I like what I'm doing, which is like
I think
a
one of the
nice
biggest
change.
signs was when you told me after Christmas break that you don't dread going back. Like you're excited to go back.
Yeah, there was no like, now it's time to dissociate before going to school sort of vibes.
Straight up. Today we're going to talk about something my sister and I are very passionate about, and it's all about the environment and climate anxiety. Actually, do you want to know the specific term? I haven't told you yet.
Yeah, I would love to hear it.
So it's actually called eco-anxiety.
That makes
by
sense.
APA, which is the American Psychological Association first defined eco-anxiety in 2017 as a chronic fear of environmental doom.
Wow. You know, I like that term better though, because climate, yes, but there's also things going on that are not always like
just
evident
climate
to us. Yeah.
And it's a more accurate term. Right. You would know that getting into eco-anxiety if you feel comfortable, because one of my other best friends, you know her, she'll be a guest on here, and she actually graduated with environmental science, and we've had a few conversations about the way that it's taught in school really does kind of set a lot of you students into the doom area of it, because it's so overwhelming and you don't know how to deal with it. You can't be in denial because you're studying this, you're writing papers on it, you're doing so many classes, like you can't fucking be in a denial about it. But yeah, it's hard to balance it in the sense that you feel secure because you're like learning about so much that even people in the news have no idea it's happening. No. How did that learning experience, like we're not going to put the educational system down because they're trying their best to educate. Like,
I have some good things to say about it. I also have some other things to say about it. And I just want to start off by saying, though, my experience was probably super different from like even people in my classes. I started off learning pretty general stuff, like when you go into any science thing, as you know, you have to do a lot of like
physics,
the chem and the physics and the bio, and learn about every little cell that exists and the little things going on. But the climate aspect, I learned a lot more in my geography part of my course, and we did a lot of mapping, typography and stuff. We learned a lot about like the elements. Like we learned about all of this sort of like physics going on and the chemistry going on and the layers of the earth and how the earth reacts to things. Like if there's like a cyclone or something, like how that affects the environment around it, the effects on the air and the water, and how temperatures sort of rise. I didn't finish my degree, and I know that in my last year, I would have been learning a bit more about sustainability.
So what you're saying is actually what you went through, it didn't actually provoke a lot of eco-anxiety.
I think that the eco-anxiety that I had was always sort of there because you and I, we love being outside. It's like our like sanctuary to go outside, and we're so lucky that we can like walk in trails and like have fresh air.
There's trees all over,
trees everywhere, and water. And
I've explained how we're very much like a country living girls.
I think that's really like that's definitely like a part of who I am. And then when I was living in a city, I think I got really like distracted by my environment, and I lost that part of myself. You said was great. Yeah, totally dissociated.
There's something very healing about nature itself. And so did you ever watch that video of Billie Eilish with those climate activists?
You know, I saw it, and I did not watch it though.
Okay.
So would you like to talk about that?
Well, there was a part of it, there was this line, I kept it because I was like, this is
cool.
You know, it's certain quotes, like I we both read a lot, and I think we watch a lot of wellness shit. So we hear a lot of quotes. It's become oversaturated in a sense for myself. It's never bad. I'd rather have oversaturated, really healthy wellness stuff than oversaturated dumb things. But this quote is like one of them that have stuck in my head for a while. And it's, I wish I knew her name, but she said, people don't know how to help because they're hurting. How can you help others and help the community when you're hurting yourself? I think it's all about healing. Healing the earth heals ourselves. Healing ourselves heals the earth. And I was like,
and I think that's really
like, I just got chills all over my body.
Yeah.
I think, side note, she was Indigenous. There were a lot of Indigenous people. They are not dooming in the same sense as we are. Right?
No, and like the thought process is different in the sense that Western society is so brainwashed. And like exactly how she put it was really nice, because how are you supposed to like worry and fix the environment somehow, which is like some crazy difficult thing that you can't do alone?
No, community is so important.
Yeah.
A lot of everything I say is just another way to get out of a lack mindset and into more of an abundant, high vibrational mindset.
Yeah.
It seems really easy, but I'll throw another quote in here that Maddie, she sent it to me and it really resonated with her. And then I just like another one of those quotes that latched on, and she was like, life is not easy, but it's simple. And like so much of what I talk about, I think is so ridiculously simple that people are like, that's too good to be true. But it's like,
but it's not though.
Literally a mindset shift and change your life.
Yeah.
We see so much of that. Change your mindset, change your life.
Yeah. And I think that it's really smart because, you know, when you're scrolling through Instagram and you see these environment posts and like, oh, more sewage, more oil has been dumped or whatever, things like that, you're automatically like hardwiring your brain to just like go into anxiety mode, and like you sort of just see that all the time. You're constantly associating that with fear. Of course, we're going to feel anxious and fearful about our future, and like the earth is so important.
I want to talk about the climate deniers and climate doomers, because in the video with Billie Eilish and those climate activists, they said, you know, the climate deniers and climate doomers are on the same frequency. They mentioned safe, but I would like to say it's out of fear
and shame and guilt.
Yeah. It's everything negative.
And you're just like in this low vibrational state about the environment because you're so upset. Like, what are we doing to the environment? At least for me, like I can say personally, my relationship with the environment is like less of a way of putting myself in a position that is making me feel sorry for the environment and myself. Quite frankly, because
there's always something you can do.
The dooming and glooming, you're like stuck in that state of being like, woe is me and woe is this right now. I can't like generalize that for everybody, but
it's in the doomers, right? Like you were in a bit of the dooming. I was too.
For sure.
The deniers don't even think about it. They don't want to acknowledge it. They have other stuff they want to worry about.
Yeah, and it's easy to get overwhelmed with the whole thing because it is like sort of like the biggest thing that we will be facing as a generation, I think, as a problem.
Because there's the global north and the global south. Like we're dealing with very different anxieties, right? The global north is dealing with the anxiety of what's to come, and the global south is currently starting to experience it.
Yeah.
And is, I would say, more in the fear than anything. Like anxiety is what is to come. Fear is imminent. It is right now. So there's those differences that I think we get a lot of our content on the news about climate crisis from the global south of like, this is what's happening, help us.
Yeah.
And then what are we doing in the global north? We're just worrying about ourselves. We're worrying about what's going to happen to ourselves. And it becomes so overwhelming that so few of us are taking just any sort of action, meaning like planting a tree. It doesn't need to be big.
Trees are so important. And I just read an article in this Canadian magazine, and it was saying how tree equity is a thing, and that not every community gets the right amount of trees for, a healthy air and healthy living space, because trees are so important. And if we plant more trees, like the government is, knock on wood, supposed to be doing by 2030, it will help lower the global temp.
See, that's a good news. You know what's another thing? What about the ozone? Do you know much about what happened with the ozone layer, that it's improving?
Healing.
It's healing.
It's healing.
You know what's amazing to me? That 9 times out of 10 what I see online is about any other negative.
Yeah, because we love negative things as
misery loves company.
Sit in negative things. Like, I don't know about you, but actually, I know watching the news makes me feel horrible.
Always.
Like, it is important, I agree, to know what's going on and know what's happening not only in the world, but also in other people's lives if they need help and if attention needs to be brought to any sort of situation. I agree with that. It's just sometimes I feel too sad watching the news.
Right in the morning, too. I try to tell mom this all the time.
I don't want to start my day like that. She claims
it's for work.
No.
I work with her. First of all, I hear every conversation. She is a loud human being. She's on a dooming aspect. Yeah. And I don't want to put any of our parents' generations down, but I think that we as a generation are having no choice but to sink or swim, and we have so much to live for that it's even more painful. It's either we can stay in that, get so depressed and sad that people are like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life, or people are searching for a higher vibrational way of viewing it and like moving forward with it. Being with nature.
Reel me back
How many
in.
plants do I have in this room? Like 15.
You do. She's like a plant mom.
After I added more and more plants, and it's just caring for the plants.
Yeah.
And realizing that they are so abundantly beautiful. Like there's so much about a plant and like trees and the way the seasons pass. Living in Canada, we get to see and experience the seasons and the way that nature changes. It makes me feel safer.
I like that you touched on that,
right?
Because I think that is truly what I did like about school and what I learned, because I just got ringing
in my ear, by the way, so I'm going to say that's confirmation.
It was so technical in the sense where you learned that, as simple as it sounds, the earth is super alive just as much as we are, if not like...
Just because they can't speak or anything doesn't mean that they don't.
Yeah.
Or talk about mycelium. Do you know that?
Well, yeah, fungi is pretty cool.
That is insane.
Very cool.
That we're not even gonna get into that, but it's wild.
Yeah, mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
Plants are amazing, and there's so many little things going on inside there that, like, when you learn about them, you're like, wow, this is so cool. It opens up your perspective a little bit.
Absolutely.
It's less like looking at the environment as sort of a thing and more so something that we're like living
as a being,
not on, but like in
We're living
together
and
like in harmony.
We're all connected.
And the earth is giving us things.
It's coming back to that saying, like I said, if we heal the earth heals us.
Yep.
Caring for the earth in any way that you can, big or small, will allow you to have this healthier mindset, this higher vibration, and have a domino effect within this generation and other generations to take action, be more inspired, and have more hope for a future, because nobody's going to get any shit done being in the denier and doomer.
What are different like ways that you could be sustainable in your craft? Like, you don't have to be somebody who's studying environment, and you don't have to be in science to be somebody who wants to be more sustainable. I just learned in my class that like I can make everything that I could possibly need for paints and pigments just from the earth. Like, I don't need to get these artificial pigments.
Overpriced.
Oh my God, ridiculous. Yeah, you can literally just find ways to be more sustainable and use it as something that is inspiration and not like guilty and feeling like you're stuck. Like, I definitely felt that. Like, I felt really guilty about my existence, period, with just like not being able to be making these radical changes to help the earth. But it's just not something that you can do by yourself fully. Like, you need to just like do the things that you can, the things that you can control.
Absolutely. And you know what? That will inspire other people too. I think a lot of people our age are like, I could do this and I could do that and I could do this, but like if I do this and I can't do that, could be, you know, helping people. But then I have this, when I do that, I think, shouldn't I do more? Shouldn't I help in ways to heal the earth and help the environment?
Yes.
Right? Like, you think like that, and then you help the earth, and and I'm like, what about the people? Like, it's like, you can do this all day. You can shame and guilt yourself, and like self-doubt can totally be immersed in all of your decisions, never actually going forward because of that. And I think that, honestly, the way that I view a lot of whatever I do now is, if I can change one person, that could have a domino effect for the people they have in their life. Because I believe that if you raise your vibration, it will influence and raise another person's vibration, and that will keep going. And that domino effect may reach this insanely intelligent person out there that will have that sort of vibration and feel enlightened and create something. Yeah.
You just got to be in your element. Yeah.
You got to be in your element.
You can't create things from being in a super low vibration.
No, because honestly, I think if you find yourself being in that state, the only things you're going to create will resonate at that frequency.
Yeah. And also, like, it's super normal to be sometimes to be in that low vibrational state. We are supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
We can't always be in our high vibrational state.
No.
It's just not, it can't happen. We're human, you know.
Yeah, we're human. That's a good point to make, Cam. Like, that's really important.
It's fine if you get upset, because like we talk about it a lot too. Like, I get super upset. We were talking about it on our little walk. Like, I genuinely sometimes want to hug like every tree that I see, dig myself a hole into the ground and just like cry and bury myself there, because I love the earth so much and I feel so sad for it. But
I also think
that's okay.
Not only
too.
do I get sad, I get angry. I used to get angry. I used to actually, I don't even want to make myself seem like I've been great at trying to make other people in my life want to feel inspired. I think I originally approached it before I even started the 20s Detox as being like, don't buy Shein, you're a horrible person. Like, I wasn't like, you're a horrible person, but I was like, look at what you're doing. Like, I was like, look how awful this is.
I get it if you don't have a lot of money and you want things because you want things, but there are other options too that are super affordable.
I guess we can start summing up little tips that may help us, I think.
That's good.
I think being out in nature is a big thing.
Being out in nature. I think also look at it as an opportunity to like change your perspective on things, not just the environment, but even like what we were talking about lastly was change your perspective on the way that these companies and industries that do not have the earth in mind, they only care about getting a revenue, and they know how to convince somebody to overaccumulate and buy things that you don't need. And
Absolutely.
if you look at life sort of through that way, like when you go into a store, like everything is trying to sell you something. Everybody is trying to shove something down your throat, like to sell, buy. It's just like less about materialistic stuff. And like we all sort of share that sometimes, that like, oh, I could really use this thing, or like, oh, this would be nice to have. And like if you sort of switch your perspective in the sense of like, you know that they're trying to sell you something, like, you know what I mean, it just really helps you be like, I don't need that. Like, I actually don't need that.
I think also to add on to that is the influencers that you follow.
Yeah.
It isn't just industries and companies. It's like the people that promote. They're getting so smart that there's things called UGC content, doing their face care. And they're like, oh, I also have this. They're not going to say this is a UGC video. They're going to be like, if you want 10% off, check it in the bio. That's an affiliate link.
Yeah.
And so
mostly, I guess what we're just trying to say is like there's so much shit going on, and to be honest, I only see it getting more so worse in that department
until we have a brain for ourselves.
And it's not even, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like maybe just change your perspective on that, and like there's just so much more than that shit.
So we have nature, we have gain a better perspective.
Yeah, go on some nature walks.
Nature, connect with her. Connect with her because I think
breathe the air.
It's all about raising your vibration in this situation. Like, and I think lastly, obviously with anxiety that I do want to put in here, that I think the whole thing about climate anxiety, which is, or eco-anxiety, which is different from, say, generalized anxiety disorder, social anxiety, like, and then usually therapists will just do like CBT or techniques like that in order for you to restructure your way of viewing it and realize like, oh shit, I actually have control over this situation. Yeah. But climate anxiety is very different because we don't have that control. The only thing we do have control is the way that we try and perceive and move with our day-to-day life. But there are some things, like we said, we have control over this little bit, like doing little changes, trying to constantly make sure that we're viewing it in an abundant way. But then there's like that news article that popped up about some shitty thing. And then you start feeling anxious and you're like, should I feel more guilty? Should I be doing more?
Instead of listening to the sources of shitty journalism, open your mind to some like writers and people who like actually touch on things that they're really, it's just like really amazing to read a book or a piece of writing from somebody who like is just in the right mindset and it's coming from the right place. Like you can tell.
Yeah. People that are in the doomers have this belief that if we are not educated with every shitty thing that is happening climate-wise, then we are in denial. We are not doing something. Yeah,
and that's so awful.
It's so not true. Because the people that I know that are more afraid, they do nothing other than complain or express their anxiety, which I don't want to emphasize saying, don't talk about anxiety. But I think that there are new therapists out there who are skilled in more like climate anxiety. They're like climate aware.
That's so cool.
Because they realized it's more like, how do we ground you and guide you through moving forward in this because it isn't irrational at this point.
No.
Right? So it's like, how do we move past it? How do we not let that anxiety consume us?
Mm-hmm.
And how can we be vibrating a little bit higher up on that spectrum to inspire others? I like to say we're all connected. I think it takes a lot of pressure off of yourself.
We totally and completely are.
Westernized culture is way more. We struggle with individualism.
You're not alone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
we
like,
need to think
you don't need
more
to
together.
solve the world's problems yourself.
No.
Like, if you think about it that way, this is a world problem.
Yeah.
Zoom out and think about how big the world is and how many people on the planet there is. This is not something that you can stress yourself out to the point of finding the solution yourself.
Yeah. Approaching this in a way that, like, everyone's going to be imperfect. What is that saying? Human. If everyone was doing it imperfectly, then we would still have a better world. But people are, like, too afraid to be imperfect.
Yeah. And it's totally okay to make mistakes. And we're all gonna mess up.
We are progressing. I think people need to realize that. There's been like years and years, whenever the humans have been on this planet since they started until now, people were asleep of this issue. But now we're waking up. You know, Tolkien thought the cars were like the devil.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, he had a feeling. He was like, this is not good.
Yeah.
I think it's doing whatever you can do right now.
Yeah. And don't put too much on your plate.
As a generation that I do feel like, as a final note, we have a lot of pressure. It's like, this is something we also need to just remember, that you're never going to be at peace with your life if you are in envy of our parents' generation. Isn't it freaking amazing of how much this generation has literally woken up?
Mm-hmm. So much good stuff. I think our generation is really proactive and like super, super cool. We've got some like really, really smart people that are like super young.
I know.
Just find the right ones to follow.
Greta's a queen.
And hopefully this makes you feel like you're not alone if you also have eco-anxiety. Find what resonates. Yeah. Learn, grow. We're all going to make mistakes.
I think it's Family Day. I don't know if it is Family Day for you guys listening right now.
I think it's just Americans have it too.
So it's for our fellow Canadians, it's Family Day. I hope that you're spending this. Maybe if this is going to be up in the morning, spend it outside if you can, with family, with community, to help lift your spirits.
Yeah.
Both socially but spiritually there. And everything is going to get better with time. You know, you have control over more than you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Bye. Thanks for listening. I'll see you guys next week.